Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Journey to 100 Books. Today I'm going to talk to you about book number 1 on the Journey to 100 Books. First I'm going to show you the book, I'll tell you a bit about how I came about creating it and what it's used for, and if anything that you take away from this video, I want you to reflect on your own practice in the morning and your own morning and nightly routine, because that is what this book is all about. This book is called The Spirit Ritual Formula Journal, Spiritually Charged Morning and Nightly Rituals for a Happier Life. I wrote this book in 2016, and I wrote it after a period in my life where I was on like a big, extreme personal growth, reading, courses journey. That all came about from being at a really low point in my life, emotionally, job-wise. A lot of things were going wrong, and I wanted to start feeling better. So I started reading a lot of spiritual books. Like if you go to the bookstore, pretty much all the books in the spiritual, self-development, and business section, I would buy all of them. And one book led to another. One book I would just keep on reading and reading. And all of a sudden I had a really big problem, and my problem was I couldn't stop buying books because I really enjoyed the learning process, and I bought books and I've read books like I've never really read before, and I was really intrigued by them because I felt the more I read, the more I would apply and feel better. And every book, it seemed like every book had a system of systems. So every book had their system, this system. You got to do these things, you got to do this, you got to do this, and it's overwhelming. So I compiled everything that I've learned from those books, and I've condensed it to a morning practice and an evening practice, and I used a lot of those popular techniques and a lot of those popular methods, and I put them all into a book. So I will show you that momentarily, but I want you now to reflect on how you wake up. Do you wake up first thing in the morning? What do you do? What's the first thing that you do in the morning? If you're like me, and if you're like most people, the first thing you're going to do is to reach for this, because your alarm is on there. You're going to reach for this, hit the alarm, it's in your hand, so now you're already triggered. You're already ready, responsive to dive into there. So you're going to check your messages, voicemails, who called you, emails, social media, every program, everything, every WhatsApp, everything you have going on. You're going to go through your whole internet routine, your whole connectivity routine, and you're going to feel emotions, thoughts, you're going to feel negativity, you're going to get depressed, you're going to be stressed out, you're going to have all this flood of cortisol rush through your body first thing in the morning, and you haven't even started your day yet. You're not even out of bed, and that is the way you're feeling. So reflect on your practice. It made me think about one of my old practices I used to have, and that was, instead of using my phone alarm, I would wake up with one of these. This is an old-fashioned clock radio, for those people who have not seen one of these in a long time. You might still have them. Your parents might have them. That's what this is. And there was a time in my life, a long period, where I would wake up just with the radio. So I'd wake up to some bad radio morning show or some bad song, or it could be a good song, and it would pump me up for the morning, and I would listen to a few songs. And I noticed when I did that, I felt more lighter because I just felt more in the flow. I just felt at ease. I didn't have all the pressures upon me before I could pretty much get my mental state right in the morning. So use an electric or plug-in or battery-powered alarm clock radio. Reflect on your practice. That could be a small tweak to get things going for you in a better way, because this triggers a lot. When you hit your alarm off in the morning, you have it in your hand. And when I have this go off, I'm tempted to reach for this. But since I've replaced this with some other practices and I put them in place, things have been a lot better. My mental state, my productivity, overall happiness and well-being, and how I interact with others, how I show up in the world is a lot better now that I don't connect with a lot of negative feelings and a lot of stress hormones in the morning, because there's time to get to whatever is on that phone and whatever's calling to you. But at the same time, if there's an emergency coming in, I know sometimes there's moments in our life where you have to have your phone on 24/7. You're waiting for a call, you're waiting for this back. I understand that. But for most of the days, you could leave your phone off in the morning or leave it out of reach or not even dive into it. So you could even just have like the main phone part on, no emergency calls, family members are okay, you're still sort of connected. Time for you to create. So now that you have that, time to create. So I put together this handy journal. So it's a big book and it's like a big format. So this is meant not to travel with. You could travel with it, put it in a binder, so put it in a bag, carry it with you, keep it safe. It's big, it's showing up. It's going to take up real estate on your nightstand. This is something to use, and the size matters for this because it's just going to be prominent, it's going to be calling your name, you're going to want to use this and you're going to want to have those positive results and get more on track and connect with your day better. There's a lot of benefits to this. It's tough explaining it all. It's one of those things you have to do it and try it and make those small tweaks and make progress over time and see things happen and change in your life. So it's called the Spirit Ritual Formula Journal. I'm going to go through part of it. I won't go through it all today, but I'm going to give you like a brief overview. Later on, I'll do some videos where I talk about more specifically why I chose these, but for now, I'm going to give you just a brief summary. So your day starts out like this. So this is an example of a day page, and I have chosen 9 spiritual rituals, I call them, spirit rituals. So the Spirit Ritual Formula Journal, I chose 9 to start the day with. And we've seen these before. You might not have, you might do some of them. The first one I start out with is gratitude. And there's lots to be said about gratitude. If anything, there's another thing to take from this video is that this could be like one big gratitude journal, but it's a lot more than that. Gratitude, it starts with all that. Start your day being thankful for all that you have. Take some inventory. Be thankful for the things you have and be thankful for the things that you want, because you want to draw those things to you. So something that you don't have, you want to say thank you and appreciate it for you as well. So gratitude is a deep one. I could talk about that a little bit later. Be thankful for that everything you have and everything that you want in the future, and hopefully with the right intention you will draw that to you. The simplest prayer you could ever say, I have a quote in the book, the simplest prayer you could ever say is thank you. And when you do pray, you want to pray as if your prayer has already been answered. So there's a lot of weight to those quotes and statements. After that, there's a morning prayer section. So it's open to everybody. It's not really any religion attached to it. Just a positive, feel-good prayer that anyone can say just to get your vibes going a little bit better. Set the intention for the day. Some positive questions you want to ask yourself to get your momentum going. Service, how are you going to show up in the world? Are you going to spread joy to others? Are you going to be that vibration for others? That's important. Sometimes you feel like it, sometimes you don't, but it's just something to keep in mind. What are you going to create? What are you going to create during your day? So think about it. Do you have any projects that you've been putting off? Is there something you want to do differently? So it's always good to reflect on. This section is called Magic and Miracles, and this is also getting excited about some aspects in your life that you want to manifest. Your big shebang. What is your purpose? What are you here for? You know, this comes with trying a lot of new things, but you always want to reflect on your higher purpose. So you may have a job, but overall you're meant to do something big, and you could show up in that job and do those type of things. So that has a lot to do with purpose and affirmations. The words we say to ourselves carry a lot of weight. So I love affirmations. We're going to write some. You're going to write some daily. You're going to reflect on them, and you're going to say them when you wake up and especially when you go to bed, because that programs your subconscious mind for success while you sleep and into the next day. So this is an example of a day page. So there's 9 parts here, and then there's like a big writing journal section here with lines and with a bit of white space to fill in there. So whatever you want to get out in the morning, anything, a to-do list, something you want to take action on, something bigger, something that comes to you, some intuition, whatever you have. So something you could put in there, and you have lots of space for that. And then there's quotes, and then there's little tips along the way in that box, and then there's quotes that are going to help you as well. All right, so time for what to do before bed. And I call those the nightly spirit ritual. It's a page that is similar, but it's darker. Of course, it's black to symbolize you're going to bed, so it stands out more. Something to do, you want to go over the victories, the things that you have achieved during the day, because we're always hard on ourselves, that we could have done more, we could have done this. But with today's victories, you take an inventory of the small wins, the small successes that you've had during the day, and you record them in there. And now you want to look for signs from the universe. Sometimes the universe smiles on you and you get these things, these fun things that happen in your life, these synchronicities, things line up, and write them in there. So think about it. There might be one or two things, there might be, more, but record those in there. Over time, you're going to look back at all these fun things that are happening more and more as you get into a better state in the morning when you start your day. Guidance system calibration. So just realizing when you are in a flow state doing something and when you are out of a flow state. There are certain things that we're good at, certain things that we're meant to do, and others that we feel like we should probably, off task for someone else to do. So just recognize your different states during parts of the day. That might lead you to something else in the future that could be really beneficial for you to do. Your intuitive pulse, you want to also nurture that intuition that we all have. So you want to feel that intuition and trust it. And this is a process of trusting your intuition and seeing where it leads you, because our gut will tell us what direction to go in. Sometimes we don't always trust our gut. Sometimes we don't have the confidence to act on it, but learn to trust your intuition more. We're moving on to forgiving and forgetting. So there's a little statement there where you want to forgive things that have happened to you during the day and let that go and just feel a little bit lighter before bed. So there's a part here that you read and you want to just forgive and feel a bit easier before you go to bed. The next section is surrender. So surrender does not mean giving up. When I put surrender in here, it's almost like sometimes we hold on so tight to something that we feel like we have to control it and micromanage it. It could be a problem in our life. It could be something we're trying to manifest. But when we hold on too tight, when we're too attached to it, it brings forth all those negative energies that go along with it. So surrender is a way of feeling relief and feeling the easiness of having whatever we want in our lives, just with a more sense of ease to it. So how else to say, we're just feeling the relief of having any one of our problems that we currently have resolved. So feeling at ease, feeling the relief, feeling everything resolved. And this really works. It also works if you attach that feeling onto a meditation and to visualization, which I'm coming to next. Affirmations, we're also doing them before bed. So we're going to write them in there. We're going to say them before bed, hand on your heart, say them and feel them. Meditate, whatever form you like to do, but you can meditate in the morning or before bed. I have it at the bedtime. Sometimes you're too busy in the morning, but that's something you could play with. You could play with what works best for you. I like to meditate before bed. I also like to meditate in the morning. So I mix it up. Sometimes I meditate twice, and I also enjoy meditations that are guided. So someone telling me what to do. I have lots of meditations. I could talk about that next. And the favorite ones that I like to listen to, I could share with you. And sometimes I like to just do it, basically just sit in silence and just focus on my energy moving and just a lot of the techniques that I heard in the guided meditation, just picturing them on my own. So sometimes I just like to sit in silence and visualize. You want to visualize the best day for yourself and also the best outcome of your day ahead. So you want to think of some long-term goals, think about them, feel them happening in the present moment. And that's a great way to end your day. And if you have something that's on your mind, you just have to get it out. It's almost like they call it a brain dump. You just want to get it on the page, write it down here, get it off your chest, because you're also going to be thinking about it. You just want to get it out on paper. So that's good for any worries. You could write anything on here and you could put it on there. And then off you go before bed. So ideally you'll do this after you've had an hour without your TV or your computer powered off. So this is good to do when you're winding down. You've done your routine, whether you shower, everything, you're getting ready to go to bed, and you'll do the nightly routine. So that's it today. This is my first book on my journey to 100 books. I'm going to show you 100 books that I have published. This is the first one, the Spirit Ritual Formula Journal. So I told you how I came up with it. I came up with it during a tough time in my life. I put everything together. I want you to reflect on your own practices, what you're doing, and what you could do better. And if you take anything from here, even if you just try one thing in your life, so some will resonate more with you. If you want the whole book, you can get it from the link down below. It's on Amazon. If you take one thing away, think about what you can do for your morning practice or your evening practice. What is one thing you can do to make it better? And try that. So that's my intention for you. Have a great morning. Have a great evening. Your day will come together. You'll be in the flow. You'll be more grounded. You'll be more present. And you won't be scattered everywhere. And hope you give it a try. All right, that's all for me today. Here is the board, Journey to 100 Books. Right here at the bottom, the first book, Spirit Ritual Formula Journal. Next video is going to be different because I have some other books coming out. I won't say right now. They're fun books, and I hope you watch that video as well. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you later.